Joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline, friend of the program, BYU legend and NFL Hall of Famer Steve Young. Steve, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation.
It's good to be in Studio B. Studio C is my spot, but I'll hang with Studio B right now.
Okay. Hey, we'll take the backup role, Studio B. Steve, I have a question. How do you recover from the energy overload of working Monday nights with Ray Lewis and Trent Dilfer on Monday Night Football?
Does it seem like there's energy there? We're actually... Ray and Trent have obviously played together and we're friends for a long time, and and then Trent's a really good friend of mine. And Ray and I have just become good friends. So we really have a good time, and I don't know that we show that or that it comes off that way, but we really do enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. And I really look forward to it more than really any time in the past that I've done it. It's more fun every week.
Steve, when you look at Tanner Mangum's play so far this year, has had to step in as a true freshman, and BYU is still 6-2. What have you thought of his freshman year so far?
That's phenomenal. Back when he was a senior, when Trent was a part of Elite 11, I think I might have spoken about this, Trent told me, he says, you know a kid named Tanner Mangum? And I said, I actually do, because in my ward, Kelly Cook, whose sister's, it's Tanner's, her sister's boy, and so I've known of him for a long time because she keeps me up to date. And he said, well, I don't know if you know this, but that kid is one of the all-time greats. I said, well, geez, he's a senior in high school. What are you talking about? He said, look, I do this Elite 11, and I go through the kids, around the country, and I've done it for years. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this. And he tied with, at that time, he was with Jameis Winston. He tied the number one spot with Jameis Winston. So since then, it's been in my mind, but he went on a mission. You didn't really think much about it. And then all of a sudden, when Taysom got hurt and Tanner ran in, I was like, holy cow, that's Tanner Mangum. There he is. So I had a feeling, because Trent's somebody that he really does love football and study football and puts time in and really digs in with the guys and does not just, can you throw the ball, can you read a route, but so many other parts of their personalities and leadership and the game and everything else. And so they really test all that when he's with them. And so he was just so impressed with them. So I was not shocked at Nebraska. I was not shocked at Boise State. I thought that, from what I'd known of him, from his family, and then also what Trent had told me, I just kind of felt like he'll just do well. I mean, and he has. And I think it's really amazing what he's accomplished.
Steve Young with us on BYU Sports Nation. Steve, when you look at Tanner Mangum and the miracles that he's pulled off, BYU now 6-2 with 4 games to go in November, San Jose State, Missouri, Fresno State, and Utah State. What do you expect the Cougars to do over the final 4 games of the season?
Well, obviously been a great season. It's obviously, for me, I look for, because I'm with ESPN, I get to see those guys a lot. The contracts with ESPN, being independent is, working without a net in general. Look at last week, trying to put together a schedule. It's Tom Holmoe's always trying to find a great games, but it doesn't always work out. And so and having that ESPN contract is huge, having us be kind of exposed that way. And we have to be winning. We have to be showing, be entertaining, if nothing else. And then obviously need to win. And this season has done that. It just fundamentally, not, you can compare, you can say, oh, the season's successful or it's not, or you can have that opinion. But fundamentally, keeping this thing going as an independent with what we have to do to keep that in place, this has been a success. And so now as it finishes out, obviously if we can get 9 or 10 wins and get placed somewhere, who knows where we could get placed if we could kind of finish out that way. But I suspect if I want to win them all. I think we can. I think the team's getting stronger. Whenever we have a really good quarterback, BYU's in the top 20. Just look back 30 years. And so I think with Tanner, you're going to have somebody that's moved very quickly, grown up very fast, can handle it, and is going to get better and better. And so I have very high expectations now for BYU because they have a quarterback that can go the distance.
Steve, Taysom Hill has options. He can graduate and quit football. He could graduate and go to the NFL. He could graduate and transfer. He could come back to BYU. What do you want to see him do?
Oh, it hurts. I hurt when I think about this. Taysom and I have become friends over the years and had conversations, and and this has nothing to do with Tanner, because Tanner's a phenomenal human being and a phenomenal quarterback and going to be great. So this is not really about that. It's really just feeling so bad for Taysom and the injuries, because when Taysom took the field in Nebraska after at halftime, I couldn't believe the improvement of his quarterback skills, of the parts that are so vital to playing the position. And then even as a pro looking at it, like, what could he do? What could he kind of transition? And I thought, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. And then he got hurt. And in fact, I remember at the time saying, he's going to win the Heisman. And I'm talking crazy, but that's just what I said to myself.
Yeah.
Or said to someone else. I just said, look, he's going to win the Heisman.
Wow.
And so it's been just brutal to think about, because the truth is, I don't think he comes back to BYU. I think that, and I have not talked to Taysom about this, so this is just my opinion. I think that he would probably look for somewhere else to go, but in college, and play for a year so that he could set himself up to go pro. That would be kind of how I would be thinking about it. And that's painful. And it hurts to say. I don't even know how to talk about it, to be honest with you. But I don't know that there's another way to really think about it. Going straight to the pros, I think it's worth trying to go play some more football and put a full season of health together and really show yourself. Now, if Bronco and everybody wants to talk about it and figure out how he plays and finishes at BYU, then that's super great. But at this point, I don't know how that works out.
With the gauntlet schedule BYU faces next year, I would not say no to Taysom Hill and Tanner Mangum both being at BYU. Steve Young with us on BYU Sports Nation.
Oh, you don't want to scare everybody. Oh my gosh, Steve Young just said Taysom Hill's going to leave BYU. Everyone, don't drive off the road. Stay on course.
No,
because I would love that. Okay, I just want you to be clear. I would love that. That would be super. I would be very, very happy if they stayed together and Taysom came back and they played together. That's my number one choice. But I have to be realistic.
And you're right, Steve. There's this kind of idea that Taysom Hill's given everything he could to the program, and no one would blame him if he left. I mean, I think there's that feeling of, if Taysom Hill can get a shot at being healthy, and if it's Stanford or Michigan or whatever, those two make sense, then so be it. If he comes back to BYU, great. You figure it out with Tanner. You guys figured it out in the 80s with all those guys, Mark Wilson and Jim McMahon. You figured it out, and you had talent on the field.
We did. And, that's actually interesting. I hadn't thought about that, because it's true. And even with Joe Montana and myself, there's a creative tension that was there that brought out, the guys that benefited the most out of the two of us being together were the 49ers. And in some ways, BYU would be the great beneficiary of having both of them. And they could work that out. So you guys got me re-energized by that.
Okay.
Let's go with that one. Let's go with that.
Steve, it's always great to talk to you. We look forward to your approaching Football Life project with NFL Films and Jeff Benedict. Thanks for the time, man.
Oh, you bet. Good to be with you guys.
Steve Young on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.
This has been one of my favorite shows ever. Remington Peck, fantastic. Chase Fisher, always great. Steve Young, legend, awesome. Interesting thoughts relative to Taysom Hill.
And the 2016 schedule finalized.
This has been one of our 5 greatest shows of all time.
Mark it down. Show number 571 is legit.
571?
Nice. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Up next, we'll put a bow on one of our all-time shows. This is BYU Sports Nation.